Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our review of Better Call Saul, Season 6, Episode 1, Episode 2. We are
One and
here.
two.
There you go. There you go. Saul the Magic Man is back. We are here to talk about, I think, what was a very magical start to the season. Granted, personally, I would have preferred, one episode, then the next episode the next week. I don't necessarily need like the 2 hour, like gigantic block. Just like let us build up a little bit of momentum here.
No, this is the final season. I know a lot of people are like, give it to me all at
Yeah.
once, but I am more of a slow ride. Give me a little here, a little there. I want to savor the last season. The show is so good that I would have rather had one this week and one next week and just have a little bit savor.
There is just so much to savor here. I mean, they gave us
Yes.
in these episodes like pretty much a 12-minute Nacho Varga escape scene at one point.
So good.
Like, there's so much material here, and like there's so many exciting directions to go into. But before we dive headfirst into any of it, hit that subscribe button because we are going to be here throughout all of this final season with reviews, breakdowns. We're going to share some theories. We're going to have some really good fun with all of you guys. Let's just hope nothing terrible happens to all the characters we love. Kim, but hit that subscribe button.
We also have The Boys that's going to be coming up not too far in the future. And
Yeah.
of course, this season is split into two parts. So we will also be back in the summer for the rest of Saul. We've also got House of the Dragon coming up. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff coming up here at the channel. So yeah, hit that subscribe button.
Hey, okay, so the biggest...
Finger gun that subscribe button.
See, I am afraid... There we go. I got my
I
finger...
promise I won't do that the whole video. I'm just really excited that the show is back.
There's so much to be excited about. Like, there are so many wonderful moments in here. And I will admit, though, the ironic thing is the biggest surprise to me from these two episodes is instead of what we got, it's what we didn't get. Because for the first time, we do not have a Gene Takovich scene sort of leading off everything. There was no Gene whatsoever in these two episodes.
No, we didn't. And after the beginning of season 5, where we had the whole I know who you are, I was really waiting to find out what he was going to do because he finally basically was like, I'm going to take control of this situation. I am tired of this. I don't want to change my name again and go into hiding somewhere else. I'm taking care of it. And that's really what I've been waiting for. I'm like, come on, what is he going to do?
Instead, and don't get me wrong, like the opening they gave us was captivating. I just kept being like, where's Gene? Where's Gene? Because instead we get sort of the ransacking of the Saul Goodman compound, if you will, which apparently includes a golden toilet for some unbeknownst reason to me.
It also included pink ladies' undergarments, so we'll just put that out there as a possible clue.
Yeah, like there's a couple of little clues in here. There is the undergarments, there is the tequila stopper that you sort of saw at the very, very end there, which was Kim's.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, where is she? We don't really know in Breaking Bad. So, we're gonna obviously get some answers this season.
I just hope that they get here sooner rather than later, and that this is just not some situation where, Jimmy/Saul is holding on to a couple of these things as mementos because for whatever reason, Kim is not there. I still believe, for the record, that Kim Wexler is alive. I am the hopeless romantic that wants to see her show up with Gene in Omaha in the future.
Yes, that would be great. I would love to see that, but I am sort of feeling like, this is the Breaking Bad universe. And while I feel like there's hope for Gene in the future, that he will get out of working at Cinnabon, he will get out of everything that's going on with this, hey, I know who you are situation, and he will find a way to have some kind of a happy ending. This is the Breaking Bad universe. I just feel like if Kim is not in Breaking Bad, which she is not, then she has got to be like dead or in prison or somewhere that she just can't be with him.
Okay, here's the unfortunate part of all of this, and I think this is where I have to let sort of the realistic part of my brain take over rather than the hopeless romantic, and that these episodes really paint a picture of Kim Lexler, of a woman who is probably going to have something very bad happen to her.
Yeah, because I mean, through these 2 episodes, we even saw, the end of last season, after everything that happened with Jimmy, with the cartel, with him being missing for those days, and then coming back, and just how much it affected her of the idea of Jimmy's going to be a friend of the cartel. And this is what that means. He may go missing. He may end up dead. That she's just like, okay, I've come up with this plan that we're going to do this to Howard. We are going to get this Sandpiper money, and you're going to have an office. I'm going to have an office. We're going to have a house. And that's the end of the friendship with the cartel. She really wants to move forward with this plan. And we saw that in these 2 episodes too. She's like, so about that plan, I know we're talking about the hotel room, but now we're talking about it again.
Kim is a woman of action. Like, that is the biggest thing we get in these episodes, because it's like, Jimmy / Saul, yeah, sure, he's got ideas. He's a man of big ideas, but he's not always the best at implementing said ideas. It's sort of, they even brought the carrot and the stick analogy in these episodes, but there's just so many interesting hijinks that stem from this plan, like beginning with the country club scene, which is where a certain baggie gets planted in Howard's lock. Everything at this country club was my favorite part of these 2 episodes. I'm just putting that out there right now. It was tremendous.
No, it was tremendous. I mean, it's interesting to see the 2 of them going through this too, because she feels very planted in the camp of, we're doing this, because I think her motivation is, how do I keep Jimmy alive with me? I love him. Like, let's get things settled. Where I think Saul he's got kind of one foot there, but he's not all the way over the fence yet. He's still kind of like, okay, I'll do some stuff here with this, but you can see that there's hesitation with him in this. And I don't really know why, because he threw a bowling ball, 3 of them, on Howard's car. And I think maybe it's like, okay, it's one thing to destroy his car, but it's another thing to destroy the man.
I think that's really it. I think Jimmy is somebody who can be prone to the occasional tantrum, but I think so many of his actions are sort of emotionally based, and I think Kim is a little bit more logical, and I think that's what makes Kim in some ways more terrifying, is that she actually thinks through a lot of these plans, and when she's really suggesting them, she is doing it with a very particular action in mind. You even kind of see a lot of this play out at the country club, where you have Kim sending Jimmy the text message midway through, basically telling him to abandon this plan, abandon ship, Howard's coming back, and she's thinking in logic and thinking, okay, there's no way that he's going to be able to go through with all of this, and yet here is Jimmy, who is really invested emotionally at this point in this plan, after creating this whole offensive scene in the lobby of this country club. He is going to see this through to the point where we all get to witness Bob Odenkirk's keister as he finds a way, in order to ensure that this baggie gets in there, and he can sort of set off this chain of events that I think is really going to play out big time over these next couple of episodes.
Yeah, I mean, this feels a lot like what their plan is. They're trying to besmirch his name, trying to make things come together so that they can get their hands on this Sandpiper money, which has really been sitting around for a very long time.
It has been sitting around for a very long time, and I think clearly they're patient, because I believe that they know that this plan is going to be a very, very incredibly long game. Like, even with the Kettlemans, like, I believe fully that the Kettlemans are the most ridiculous people who have ever been created.
Oh my goodness.
How did these 2 get together? Like, that is the first thing I really want to know.
I don't know.
I think that from the moment that, Saul shows up there at their, poor, sad establishment with the giant Lady Liberty, like, he knows that, okay, my whole spiel about Howard being an improper lawyer, like, this is not going to work. No lawyer out there is going to take the case, but I think he knows that they will stab him in the back, and they will start to besmirch Howard's name everywhere.
The thing is it's just none of the lawyers that are kind of working with him or thinking of working with Howard, they just don't believe it. And
No.
I think it is a really hard sell to have them actually believe that Howard is doing drugs, that he's doing this drug. Like, it's just not really there in the personality and the way that he's acting. So of course these other lawyers are like, I just don't believe it. This is just nonsense. There's no actual proof of this.
Jimmy has on an invisible gardening hat. And what he's trying to do here is he's planted the seed.
Mm-hmm.
The Kettlemans have come and they've just poured a little bit of water on it. And now he's waiting for something to eventually sprout. And I think this is a very, very risky plan because there's no guarantee anything is eventually going to sprout here.
No, I mean, Jimmy has done this before where he sent the two ladies to, where Howard was having this lunch and start this fight over their money and stuff like that. And that could have really hurt his career, and it didn't do anything. So is it really gonna hurt his career that, this baggie that's dropped, these two that nobody believe is trying to put together a case that maybe he's doing this? It isn't believable.
And then ultimately we get to the Kim side of things and the resolution here where once again, Kim Wexler, woman of action, Jimmy's strategy ain't working. I'm going to call some people up.
Yeah, and it worked. So we're back in this place where Kim is really taking the lead on this. She has motivation, even more than Jimmy does with this stuff. She really wants it to be that she's going to have her little law office to do her pro bono. He's going to have his little law office to do his stuff by the court, and then they'll have a house. She really wants to put a stop to what's going on with Jimmy being a friend of the cartels. She is not having it. Like, she is straight. This is the goal.
Did anyone notice Kim's outfit in this scene? Very atypical Kim Wexler outfit. It felt like this was Kim Wexler cosplaying a little bit as Saul Goodman. I don't know if we should make anything about this at all. I may be the only person who cares.
It's there, but it's still not wild like Saul. I mean, she's wearing a black suit with a little bit of a patterned shirt, but it's still very Kim.
I think this Kettleman thing, I don't know if we will see the Kettlemans physically moving forward on this season, but I think some of what happened here could snowball out. I mean, will they ever mention the name Howard again? It almost doesn't matter because maybe Jimmy thinks that these lawyers are all going to talk to each other and be like, did you hear about this? That's interesting. I wonder if there's anything here. There's doubt in the mind now.
Right. There's doubt in the mind, but they are all lawyers, so they are still going to want some sort of proof. There has to be proof. Just like Lalo's death. You see how I did there? Yeah, no. So we have all of this as well where, we all know that Lalo's alive. He has faked his death. And, the only person that really knows is Hector. But Gus has figured it out. And he figured it out pretty quickly because Hector, come on, man. Where it's like, I'm here to give my condolences. And Hector's going to put out his hand like that. Why? Like, he looked so smug while he was doing that right away you could see Gus is like, no, man, no.
Hector Salamanca is not a good actor.
No, he blew it.
Yeah, he really did. Like, in this scene, you had an opportunity. I don't know. I mean, maybe Gus is just so perceptive he could have figured it out anyway, but you got to try a little bit harder. Since when is Hector Salamanca shaking a bunch of people's hands?
Especially Gus. I mean, like, Gus knows that his relationship with Hector is bad.
Yeah, like, really, really bad. This was a particularly challenging episode, to say the least, with Gus Fring. I mean, for starters. There is the massive fear that Lalo is going to show up and do something terrible to him, which is fair. Lalo is terrifying.
Yes, he is. And he absolutely thinks that Gus is behind all of this of trying to kill him, killing his family, killing his people. He is coming after the Chicken Man.
And then there is the Nacho Man, who is in the process of trying to find a way to not die. Also, Nacho, another important question. Don't drink water that is in some sort of like metal tubing out in the middle of. That is not going to be good water. You are surprisingly still alive.
No, we've seen people drink worse when they're in desperate situations on this show. So,
I tried to block that out.
Sewer water or salt in the desert.
Okay, I'll write Nacho. Congratulations.
What would ya?
You get a pass. I will also drink the sewer water alongside you. But
Same.
It's so interesting with this show sometimes that they don't prioritize dialogue often, where you can have these sequences where there's very little spoken, and we see that multiple times in these 2 episodes. But the vast majority of Nacho's "oh my god, I'm going to die" sequence involving the cousins and everybody else who shows up here, it really felt like there was no way in you-know-what that he was going to get out of this. And I say this knowing that Nacho still has a story to tell, but how is this dude still alive?
No, that was some quick thinking on his part. I mean, he knew he was being watched. He wasn't sure by who or for what reason. He was able to get around, figure it all out. Yeah, the cousin showed up. Lots of action. Yeah, I do not know how he figured his way out of that, but he has figured his way out of so much over the years.
That's what makes, I think, Nacho a really interesting character, because he is somebody who is capable of doing bad things, but he's sort of I will do bad things when I have to sort of guy, as opposed to obviously somebody like Gus, who is completely cold-blooded. Mike is certainly there on some level. I mean, we saw some of Mike's strategy, I guess we can say, with the phone call right when he was in a really bad situation tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Mike really has gone to bat for Nacho a bunch of times now with Gus, where he's just like, listen, like, this guy has paid his debt to you plus interest many times now, and he has shown to be that he is there for you. Like, when is it time to either release him or, if you're not going to, which Gus was like, why would I give up somebody who's doing all this stuff for me? Okay, well, if that's the case, then you need to start treating him a little bit better so that he doesn't ever actually turn on you. There can only be so many times that you're like, bring out the father. Like, there's other ways to go about it, and Gus knows it.
Okay, I'm about to do something I don't want to do, but I feel like I have to, and that is criticize somewhat the Mike Ehrmantraut story and the presentation of it here, because we're getting like 1 to 2 minute reminders here and there of, oh yeah, he's doing this in part because of his granddaughter, and it's like, that's a very noble reason, but it feels like the show never really wants to dig that much deeper. So like every single scene we get of the granddaughter, it's basically the same sort of thing of her and with Mike. And I think because we all know how Mike's story ends, and because his character is so specific, the evolution of him on this show, I think, is just harder. And as good as some of his scenes are, I do at times feel like his scenes just are paced a little too slow.
Yeah, I think we all know what his motivation is. We've known it since Breaking Bad. They've been, threading it throughout this as well, that this is his motivation for doing what he's doing. So we don't necessarily need to see that anymore. I think we do need to continue to see more sort of development with Mike and Gus of, we already know his motivation, why he's there, what he's doing this for. Okay, well then, like he's saying about Nacho, okay, you know what? He's shown loyalty. He's done his part. What else could you need from him? Where Gus is like, get out the box cutter kind of thing. It's just kind of like, okay, well, with Mike as well, that he needs to be growing in this relationship as well, where Mike can give Gus some sort of advice and Gus will actually kind of listen a little bit more than he is, because it feels like he's just still fighting everything on Mike.
It feels like in general there's still a collision course to come internally there, but we're building towards like this big collision course with almost every major character on this show, where Kim wants to get the Sandpiper money and just go back to having an existence with her and Jimmy that I think that she wants. And Jimmy,
I also wish that, even though I know how
I
you know it goes for
I
Saul, but
I want it too. But we know that for whatever reason, this pull of being amigo del cartel of Saul Goodman here, he's going to continue to get involved in this. And
yeah.
is Kim going to be able to stop him? And what's going to happen to her when she tries to protest? Like, I can't see him doing anything to try to get Kim out of the way, but I think it's going to be clear to other people like a Gus or a Mike that she does not want to be involved in this.
Yeah, it's going to be, I'm very curious to see how they get Kim sort of away from Jimmy, because she has proven time and time and time again when
Yeah.
many partners would have left him that they're just like, there's been some lying, some criminal activity. Yeah, she's done some stuff too. I'm not trying to be like ever, let's pile on Saul
Yeah.
because deep down he's a good guy. He's a very good guy to her, that it's just a lot has happened that a lesser partner would have left him already, and she has not done that. She has stood by him on everything, including being a friend of the cartel. That she would go through all of this to then what, leave at the end of this? Or even if Saul's trying to say, Jimmy's like, oh, you gotta go, it's not safe anymore for you, she stood up to Lalo when you couldn't, Jimmy, and was able to get you guys out of this. Like, she's proven too many times that no matter what Jimmy says or does, she is not leaving him. So it's gonna have to be convincing. That's why I'm worried that she is not gonna make it out of this alive, because over her dead body is she going to leave him.
It is the central struggle of this season, and this is probably what we will talk about the most over these final episodes, is how do you write a satisfying arc for Jimmy and Kim that makes sense with the ending that we have and also still makes sense for this Kim character. Like, nobody wants to see a devastating end here, but I think that's going to be hard not to have a devastating end unless they get really, really creative.
Yeah, this is the Breaking Bad universe, so I expect there to be some sort of a devastating end where she's probably going to end up dying, and that will be the thing that will turn Jimmy completely into Saul, where he will break bad, basically, because he is sort of one foot in each camp right now. But if he ever lost Kim because of something, that maybe he did or something along those lines, that could be that devastating push that just is like, you know what, I'm such a bad guy, I let this happen, I can never live with myself, so if I'm such a bad guy, I might as well just be all the way bad.
I'm just so happy that this is back. Like, we've waited for 2 years to get new episodes, and we can start the theory train all over again on Kim, on Jimmy. But okay, hit that subscribe button, guys. We will be here talking about Better Call Saul throughout all of season 6.
Yeah, every Monday we are going to have a review for you, and every Wednesday we are going to have a preview for you. So hit that subscribe button and stick with us all season long.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you next time.